Okay, so I have a couple things on my mind right now. But first, I will start by saying that I'm wearing Koros for my scent of the day. I just sprayed it on, and man, that freaking opening is something else. I will say, it just smells so. That first initial 2 minutes is it's not to be messed around with. It's not something you could just spray on yourself and forget about. It's like a commitment, I think. But anyway, the idea that I have for you today is, why do we as humans collect things, and why do we romanticize and put importance into collecting and obtaining objects? Whether that be a fragrance, if you have a fragrance collection. Also, the bottle on this, it just sounds cool. I like the way that sounds, like the marble. Anyway, yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. But anyway, fuck, what was I even saying? Yeah, so why do we have objects that we put so much importance into? I kind of understand the appeal to having the minimal lifestyle, but I could just never do that. I enjoy owning things, a lot of different shit. I like the way the cluttered aesthetic looks. I know that's kind of different for a lot of men, because I know men are kind of just simple with how they live in their rooms and shit. They don't have a lot of stuff. They just need their essentials, and that's basically it. But I think I'm a lot different in terms of the traditional idea of a man, I think. Because I definitely like to have a lot of decorative shit in my apartment. I don't know if that makes me some fucking whatever, but I just have a lot of shit. I'm sure there's a lot of people that will watch this relate. But yeah, I just have a lot of different shit, and it seems that the root of my collecting, it stems from I almost want to I heard this somewhere, but a man who is idle will fill his life with things to replace that longing and the thing that he really needs. And I kind of agree with that, because for most of my 20s I've felt I was kind of just idle, and I was just not where I really needed to be. And it seems my whole obsession with collecting things really started taking off probably my mid-20s. But then as I got a little older, it seems it's getting more out of hand, I would say. I mean, maybe not, but it seems the older I get, and I'm still feeling idle and not where I would like to be. Because I think when we're younger, we have this idea that, well, when I'm 30, I'm gonna have a family, and I'm gonna have a wife, and I'm gonna have a nice career. I'm gonna have 2 cars. I'm gonna have a bunch of animals in my house. But I mean, I'm almost 30 years old, and I don't have fucking any of that. I feel honestly I kind of feel I'm still 21, mentally. Maybe in some ways I do, but in a lot of other ways I feel my current age, I feel I've definitely progressed a lot more, but in some certain aspects of my life, I just feel I'm not there yet. And I think that the way that humans kind of compensate is by just filling their life with meaningless shit, whether that means collecting things, spending all your money, drinking, doing drugs, tons of pointless relationships and, sexual partners and stuff. I've definitely, before I was really into collecting things, I was definitely into drinking a little bit and, just careless relationships, and that's none of those are a good option, but I think you need to sort yourself out and maybe just become more aware of the reasons why we do things. I'm not saying that you can't collect things and not You know what I mean? Like you can still have a collection and be mentally sound, you know what I mean? Because I'm sure there's like a ton of people out there that have their life together and they have all kinds of shit. Like they have their collections too, you know, like that doesn't go away whenever you get your life sorted. But I think you need to like maybe put your priorities, myself included, put your priorities maybe in check more, you know? Like obviously I'm not gonna stop buying shit because it's just, I don't know, it's all I have, okay? let me have what I have, okay? But no, I'm just kidding. It's all I have, and I just enjoy buying shit, you know, and I don't know. But it's funny because like different phases of my life, was like more interested, like I become interested in things more intensely. Like when my first like real obsession in like collecting things was records. Well, no, it was CDs. And then I moved to vinyl. And then after vinyl, I kind of didn't really have anything that I was super obsessed with for a while collecting. And then I got really into like books and movies. And I started collecting like DVDs and books. But then like I got into fragrances, and then I got like super into that for a while, and then I kind of like lost interest in it a little bit. And then I started becoming really interested in like Criterion collection DVDs, and then like I got more interested in books again, and then now I'm back to fragrances. It's like every couple years or months, like my interests change, but like my collecting of those interests doesn't change. But like my idleness and like feeling like I'm not where I should be in life, which is also kind of subjective because, you know, like where you should be in life really just depends on how you think you should, like how you feel, you know. There's no right or wrong way to live life. You know, you could be perfectly content with living in your parents' basement your whole life, and you're perfectly happy with that, you know. Your parents love you and they don't care you're there, and you never really had any big goals, you know, and you're just fine, you know. That's just what your life is, you know. But for me, I have like a lot of different goals, and when I'm not achieving them, you know, and there are things that I have achieved, you know, that I'm happy about. But I also think maybe when we are achieving different things, we become not so interested in our little things that were like keeping us happy in between, you know. Like when I like was like working out a lot more consistently and going to the gym and stuff, I really didn't even have like freaking time for anything else, you know, just working and then working out, you know. And the collecting thing just kind of just doesn't really become that important. But yeah, also like clothes is another one. Like I was kind of interested in collecting clothes and stuff for a while. I just like looking around my room and shit, like I was like, God, I just have so much stuff, and like how did I acquire all this? Like I have a lot of shoes too, which is freaking weird. Like what does it say about a person who just has a lot of things? Like they care like a lot about what they own and like how they present themselves and how they smell and what they spend their time reading and watching, you know. It's like you care a lot about this stuff, but meanwhile people are out there like making moves and traveling and working your way up the corporate ladder and all this other shit. But then there's just some people like myself who are just kind of like happy with what they have, and they're just kind of happy with the sort of life that they are living. But yeah, I think it's just kind of funny, like as humans we do that. Like I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would probably relate. But I think also this is another thing I was gonna make a video on separately, but I'll just touch on it briefly. Is I think fragrances are really appealing to people who are kind of stagnant in life. Not everyone, obviously. I'm not, you know, that's not a generalization of people who are into fragrances, but I think people that are into fragrances and they are kind of idle and they wish that their life was progressing faster or in a different way, I think that they like fragrances because, or like clothing really is another one. But anything that kind of affects your style, I think they are really drawn to that because it's like an instant way of like improving yourself in their mind, you know. like, oh, I can't find a wife or get this job that I really want, but I can go out and spend this fragrance that makes me smell good, and it makes me smell good immediately, rather than having to put like really any effort into anything. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know, I just think it's interesting things that we do to fill the void, I think. And like, I'm no different, you know. I don't think anybody is completely free of just want and like yearning for something, but I definitely have those in my life. And I think that like the root of all of it, me collecting all this stuff and becoming interested in certain things, is just because I just don't have the life that I wish I had yet. But that doesn't mean I won't ever have it, you know. It's just like you're just trying to deal with it until it happens, you know. I also think that's people that are like into books and reading and just taking any story in, whether that be books or a movie or something, or audiobook or podcast or something. They like to be transported to a different life, you know, obviously. But people that have their lives made and they always have like shit going good for them, it seems like they just are not interested in like any of that. So which one's better, I guess? I don't know. Which one would you rather have? But anyway, yeah, that's basically the thought I was having today. And yeah, I'm not trying to be like depressing or anything, or it's just kind of like just being honest with the reality of the situation. Like, no human being really needs 100 fragrances. Nobody needs every movie they've ever seen on DVD. Nobody needs a fucking library, you know. Like, nobody needs all this shit, you know. Yeah, I think that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hopefully this doesn't upset anyone. It's just more just trying to see how you feel about it. Maybe you relate, and maybe you don't feel so freaking alone. So anyway, yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Au revoir.